Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and happy New Opportunities 2024. This is College and Career Pathways, and we're so glad to have you in the new year. Today, we're going to be talking with uh, Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union, and we're going to be continuing our financial literacy series. And today, we're going to be talking about how to choose a financial institution. I am Toni Cureton, your host. Thanks so much for joining. Colleen, welcome back. Um, Hope everybody had a great holiday.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be back. First one of the new year. So this is a great topic. Choosing your financial institution, going right back to the beginning. Let's kind of just start from scratch. Let me share my screen. I do have a video for you, don't worry. But I just want to introduce the topic a little bit, what we're going to cover, why we're talking about it, and then we'll go into the video. What is your financial institution? Your financial institution is where you do your banking, where you keep your money. It might be more than one place, but there's probably one primary, oh, I have Chase and that's got my car loan and my checking account. And oh, I have MSGCU and I have a checking account and a credit card and a savings account, where you do your banking. Now, it's a personal choice, right? Wherever you have your accounts right now, that's fine. I'm not here to tell anyone to change or you need to switch. Wherever you have your account right now is fine. But I want you to start thinking about this idea of what is my financial institution doing for me to earn, my business, my money. You choose your car very carefully. You choose what school you go to very carefully. So it only makes sense that you would choose who handles and who, has the behind the scenes of your money. Not only that, your financial institution, you need to have a relationship with it. Same thing with school. If you show up and leave, that's real tough. You got to develop a relationship with the teacher, with the principal, ask them for help, allow them to help you, allow them to offer suggestions or solutions, admit when you need help, and you'll thrive that way. To some people, a financial institution is scary. It's big. It's complicated money. I don't know about that stuff. All I do is put money in and take money out. I don't want to know anything else. Or think of it as I'm afraid of it. I'm scared of it. I don't want them to know how I really spend my money. I don't want them to know how much my debt really is. I don't want to be honest with them. And you feel like you're hiding your money from the place you're keeping your money. I'm here to tell you, your financial institution should be there to help you, right? Not just to hold your money. It's not just a safe. They're there to help. They're there to offer suggestions, provide solutions, prevent fraud, prevent things, help you fix things. So I want you to start thinking about what type of situation, what type of place might be best for me. And I'm actually going to go backwards. Or I'm going to start with a bank. Because a bank you're probably pretty familiar with. I was very familiar with the bank. It's a company, it's a business, it's for profit. It's like a restaurant, it's like a store. They have a product, they have products and services, checking accounts, credit cards, car loans, and they make a profit through, charging interest, through charging fees. It's run by a board of directors. It's got a president. It's got maybe shareholders. It's a shareholder-owned institution. The business itself, is owned by a president or by a board of directors. The customers have no say in, how much things cost. Open eligibility. Anyone can walk into a bank and say, hi, I'd like to open a savings account, or hey, I'd like to talk to someone about opening a savings account. There's no rules or requirements. I mean, there's some requirements that you have to actually have some money, but anyone can be at a bank. Don't think too hard. A bank is it is what you think it is. When I say what's a credit union, that's where a lot of people are like, well, I thought it was the same thing, or I don't know. And quite honestly, and I've admitted it before, I didn't know what the difference was. Before I started working at this job, I've been going to a bank my whole life. Things were fine. Nobody ever, I didn't know. You don't know something until it's explained to you, right? When you know better, you can do better. And I'm not saying credit unions are better, but I'm saying having more options and more information helps you make a more informed choice. So what is a credit union? Let's go back to the beginning. A member-owned financial cooperative. Now, what does that mean? It's not owned by a president. It's not owned by, one person. Every person that has an account at a bank, we'd say customer. At a credit union, they're members. You have a small ownership in the company. It's not for profit. That's the biggest difference. There's, nonprofit. When we think nonprofit, Red Cross, Salvation Army, when you give them your money, you expect 100% of that money to be put towards charity. That's not going into it shouldn't be going into anyone's pocket. A for-profit, like a store or a restaurant, when you give them money, you're assuming 100% of that is going into the business. It's not being donated anywhere else, unless for some reason they tell you otherwise. So what is this middle ground, this not-for-profit? It's kind of hard to explain, but it's great. It means credit unions, we have the same products and services. We have checking accounts, savings accounts, credit cards, mortgages, car loans, all of the same banking products. We also charge interest. We also have fees. So therefore, we also make a profit. But instead of the profit going to the shareholders and the board of directors, it's going back to the members. So it's kind of cyclical, like a cycle, where the more we earn, the more it's returned to those who have accounts. And we're gonna look at some examples on that. It's run by a volunteer board of directors. So the handful of people who really make the big decisions about MSGCU's future, they have full-time jobs, and this is they're not doing this for a profit. They're doing it for their community. Members have a say, have a vote in who sits on that board. One thing with the credit union is there is membership eligibility. So for instance, you can go, anybody can go to a community college, but not anybody can go to U of M. You have to apply, you have to be eligible because of your grades, or some other things too. A credit union, you have to be eligible for membership. And just hearing that fact stops a lot of people. Oh, I'm probably not eligible. Oh, you have to be oh, well, I'm probably not. Well, you haven't heard anything about it, and you're already discounting yourself. It's much more open than you think. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union. You'd think maybe you have to work for the government. Maybe you have to work at a school. Nope. You have to have worked, gone to school, lived in Michigan. That's it. Some random person in another state who's coming to visit and says, oh, I love MSGCU. I'd like to open an account. they can't. You have to be a Michigan resident. Now, if a Michigan resident opens an account and then leaves the state, they can still keep it. But that's the only requirement. Different credit unions have different requirements. Whether you, Michigan State University Federal Credit Union, maybe you attended MSU, you have a family member who attended or a family member who worked there. It doesn't have to be quite so direct. So those are the two things we're going to look at, is choosing between a credit union and a bank. Now, there's different credit unions within credit unions, Genesis, DFCU, Extra Credit Union, MSGCU. There's different banks, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. But we're looking at how these two things separate. How are their categories different? Now we get to our fun video. Oh, let me make sure I share the sound.
Once again, it's time for Who's Your Money Match? Let's meet our first contestant, Jennifer.
Well, this seems a little excessive.
You'll have to choose between 3 money matches. But first, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Okay, my name is Jen. I'm looking for a long-term financial relationship, and I just really want to find that special connection with someone who cares about my future.
Oh, sorry.
Match number 1. What's your idea of a perfect date?
Well, I'd like to get to know you better, since you have a say in how the credit unions run. Maybe do some community service together.
Lame.
Or
Listen to this guy. He probably doesn't even know how to use the internet.
I know how to use the internet. You're not the only one with online banking and apps and stuff.
Getting back to the question, number 2, what's your perfect date?
Depends on what my shareholders say, I guess. Oh, maybe surprise you with a hidden fee or something. That sounds like a good time.
Number 3, care to top that? Guess not. Okay, number 1, what are your hobbies?
I like offering checking and savings accounts, mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, online banking.
I do all that stuff too.
Good to know. So, number 2, what's your best feature?
Anytime you need an ATM, I'm there for you. Unless it's another guy's ATM. When you use those, I get angry. And when I get angry, I make you pay some fees. But at least I have ATMs. Unlike number 1 over here.
What?
I've heard the rumors.
Well, you heard wrong, because I have ATMs too. So do my friends all over the country. We often team up to give better surcharge-free ATM coverage.
Whatever.
Number 3, my friends say I'm a bit of a foodie. How about you? Number 1, let's say it's the weekend and you find yourself with a ton of profits. How do you spend them?
Well, I'm not for profit, so I would spend it on you. Do something special, like introduce a free checking account or lower the interest rates on your loans.
Aw, that's so sweet. What about you, number 2?
The profits? Oh, I'd spend those on myself.
Well, my mind is pretty much made up, but why do you think we should pair up?
Because I'm a bank, and I am popular, and I am very rich because my customers pay me a lot, and I am very rich.
And I think you should choose me because I'm a credit union, and I want you to make smart decisions, not just the most popular ones.
Super rich. Just saying.
Yeah, okay, credit union, let's roll.
Ah, cool!
I just don't get it. I'm a popular guy. Am I right, Pig?
All right, so back to, okay, perfect. Start with the basics. We're evaluating what's the difference between a bank and a credit union. We're going to start with thinking about your access. Access meaning, how do you get your money? And you're like, well, I get it. I walk in and I get it. Okay, what if they're closed? What if it's too far away? What if you don't have a car? you want to know the answer to all of those questions, right? What if you're out of state? What if you're visiting someone? You want to be able to access your money, right? Banks, big banks, just because, you know, they're for profit, will spend a lot more money on advertising. So you'll see a lot of commercials for banks. So people will go to banks or choose banks and not really hear about credit unions a lot of times simply because of the advertising. But because you hear about Chase all the time. Oh, I hear Bank of America commercials all the time, or Wells Fargo commercials all the time. And I see the ATMs everywhere. There's Chase ATMs everywhere. So that just seems like it would be the most convenient, right? I mean, maybe. Credit unions also have ATMs. It's not something that only banks have. Now, what they mean is MSGCU has 22 branches right now. So we have 22 MSGCU ATMs. That means those 22 you can use for free. If you're at Chase and you have a Chase checking account, you can only use Chase ATMs for free. If you use Bank of America or any of the other ones, you get charged. So that's why you might have that mindset, oh, I want somewhere where there's ATMs everywhere. Well, credit unions as a cooperative group are part of a larger network where you can join with other credit unions. So you actually have 30,000 free ATMs. Off the top of your head, you would assume, oh, well, since I only get free at that bank, I would probably only get free at that credit union. Nope. It expands. You can go to a free ATM all over the country. A lot of people don't know that. Is there an app for that? Banks, again, by nature of being for profit, they are usually right on the cusp of technology. Banks are going to be the first ones that got a mobile app, the first ones who you were able to use the remote check deposit, you know, taking a picture of a check. Right now, I know that there's banks where you can just scan your phone over the ATM and access your account. I don't know of a credit union that can do that. We have a mobile app. I can't think of a credit union that doesn't have a mobile app. We absolutely have technology. It's mentioned simply because technology is really important to some people. Some people, I want to have that latest technology. I'm an IT person. You know, I love that. I want that. Could be someone a little older who says, I could care less. I don't want an app. It's a lot convenient to have an app. It depends what's important to you. All right. So having an app, being able to access your money on your phone, on your computer, on your iPad, being able to get information, being able to pull money out of it for free. Thinking about the money itself. Credit unions, by nature of being not for profit, will usually have lower fees. We'll have fees. We've talked about overdraft when your checking account goes into the negative, and banks make lots and lots of money on overdraft fees. Whereas credit unions will also have an overdraft fee, but it'll be much less. For example, online monthly bill payment fee, maybe a monthly maintenance fee. A lot of banks still have monthly maintenance fees, or they'll have fine print, you know, where it says it's a monthly maintenance fee unless you have direct deposit of at least $500 at least twice a month. Now, someone who has that will never see that, but they don't get the fee and it works out. If you're in a situation where you don't get you're a server or you work by cash or you're a nanny where you don't get a direct deposit of that much, maybe you don't even realize that now you're going to start being charged $10 a month. You know, that's really what's important. To use another ATM. if you have a credit union, if you have MSGCU, yes, you can still use a Chase ATM, a Bank of America ATM. You can still access your money from any ATM, okay? It's just going to charge you a fee if it's a bank ATM. But again, much less. And all these little things add up over time. Overdraft fee. Overdraft fees, certainly, as I mentioned, banks I've seen up to like $40, $50. There's also such a thing as kind of a forced transfer. If your checking account goes negative, money will automatically be pulled from your savings in order to make your checking account zero again. And usually that's a fee. And MSGCU just got rid of that fee altogether. So there's sometimes we do just completely not have a fee for something that other places will have a fee for. In addition to credit unions being lower fees, the member usually receives higher yields on savings, meaning the savings account you have where you leave your money and it sits there and it earns money on itself. And unfortunately, they have very, very small, low interest rates, usually less than 1%. But at a credit union, it might be 1 full percent, whereas at a bank, it's a half. Something called certificates of deposit. Credit unions may offer 5 or 6% back to the member, whereas a bank may only offer 2 or 3. So in the sense of you placing your money with a credit union or a bank, having it earn money on itself, oftentimes, most all the time, you will earn more money at a credit union because they are going to offer a higher savings rate. Your money is equally safe. That's a rumor, a myth. I go to big banks because, you know, your money is not protected at a credit union. Don't you hear those commercials? You know, FDIC protected. I want my money FDIC protected. Okay, if you're at a bank, your money is likely FDIC protected, meaning if the bank burns down or it gets hacked into, your money is protected. Nobody would ever have an account with a credit union if your money wasn't protected. Of course, your money is protected. In the same way, instead of coming from the federal government, it comes from the National Credit Union Administration. So the same amount of money, same $250,000 protection that the FDIC offers, you're just as safe with a credit union. In fact, I believe we did scams right before break. And I know that credit unions will take fraud of their members much more seriously, much more personally, getting to know their members. They know when something doesn't look right or seems off. They're really on the ball. I see, unfortunately, I hear all the time about when we prevent people from getting scammed, these older couples who come in, I need $10,000 to get my grandson out of jail. I need $15,000 to, or I'm going to be arrested. And, we talk, oh, no, this is a scam. So a bank who's in it for the profit and they really don't have an incentive to really be a watchdog for you, right? They might, they'll have a fraud department, absolutely. But are they really working for you? I started thinking about this all when I saw something on Chase was saying, we want our customers to, take ownership of their accounts and they should be responsible. If they fall for a scam, that's their own fault. And, hey, you can say that, but I don't know if that's where I'd want to keep all my money, right? So these are just things you want to start thinking about as time goes on, as the years go by. Are you paying a lot in fees? Do you feel like you're paying too many fees? Are they helping you? Have you asked for help? Have they offered help? Have they offered an incentive. Hey, we've got this great credit card offer that's perfect for you. Let me explain why. Are you interested? Hey, we can consolidate these two loans and get you a better rate. Is your financial institution working for you? Help, earning your trust, earning your business. Think about your satisfaction, right? It depends what's important to you. Is the most important that it's the cheapest and the lowest fees? Is the most important that they have the greatest and newest technology? What about the customer service? Is being able to sit down and talk to someone face to face, or being able to call 24 hours a day? One of those things is a little bit more than the other one, right? Where do you fall? What about what they call business ethics, or community appearance? What does your business do for the community, do for charity? Do you care if they do anything, for the community or charity? When customers weigh in, as you just survey random people saying, oh, do you have a bank account? Do you have a checking account? Are you satisfied? Are you happy with them? 90% of credit union members say they're happy. And at MSGCU, we have a 97% satisfaction rate. I know that because they make sure we know. Whereas banks is 66%. And if you can think back to the news over the past really 5 to 10 years, banks have gotten, they've lost a lot of trust. The average man or average family has kind of lost trust in Wells Fargo, it turns out. Had this whole scheme of opening extra accounts for people. There was an issue when the bank bailout, and well, should we be bailing them out when the presidents are driving, private jets, and all of those things. What about credit unions? Credit union wasn't part of that. They didn't need bailing out because the money was all circle. It was all stayed within the community. None of the credit unions needed to be bailed out. So I know that sounds very credit union strong, very credit union heavy, and I do personally recommend credit unions as well, ever since I've been working at one, ever since I've really learned and understood what the differences are. I think there's great benefits to credit unions, but you can have more than one financial institution. Just because you have, maybe you love your checking account at a bank, but you can get a much better car loan rate at a credit union. That's okay too. You don't have to, exclusively only stay with one bank or only with one credit union. What's best for you? You know what? Maybe I'll have 2 checking accounts. Maybe I'll have 3 or 4 savings accounts. Maybe I don't really want to close the account with them, but this place has a new great opportunity that I can take advantage of right now. So keep your ears open, even if you're happy. I'm not saying you need to leave anywhere, but who's going to earn your business? Who is going to help you? Because the person who sits and listens to your story and says, okay, let's try to figure something out. What if we do this? What if we do this? We're going to try to find a way to make this work, versus I'm going to try to make the most profit off of this person. I'm going to try to earn the most fees, money back from this person. So as you age, as you grow, as you earn more money, as you deposit, and then as you withdraw and spend more money, start to think about, how easy is this? Are they making it easy for me? Are they nice to me? All of those things. MSGC, look at all this wonderful education we're providing for free. My job is not taking accounts or signing people up or, making sure that all you guys open accounts. No, I just want to make sure that you understand the difference so you can make a more informed decision for yourself. When I go into schools, I describe credit unions and banks, which I should have done this in the first place, but I'm only remembering now, is I compare it to public and private schools. You know, one could argue that public and private schools are essentially the same thing, right? It's the same subjects, teachers, classrooms, graduation, books, prom, it's the same thing, right? You're going to learn the same things. But then you could also argue that they're very different. Well, there's uniforms, there's tuition, there's, you know, religious education, and, you know, those are the deal breakers. So in the same way that a private school may be best for your family, or a public school may be best for your family, or maybe even specifically just for an individual child, you're thinking about where my money is, where's it best for me, right? So the new year, new time to start thinking about these things, start keeping track. I got a brand new budget notebook that 2024, it's the year my whole budget gets revamped. So you guys can stick along with me here. Did you have any questions? Anything you can think of, Miss Cureton?
Nope, you covered everything. Great presentation. You guys, do you have any questions? If you do, you can unmute your microphone, or if you prefer, you can type it in the chat and I'll be more than happy to read it. All righty then, we will bring this
I
session.
remember one more thing.
Mhm.
I'm going to be sending to Ms. Cureton in just a few minutes information about our scholarships. Our scholarships are released now. So we have lots of different scholarships we offer. So I'm going to send over this information. So look for some scholarship stuff, because credit unions, that's something we do with our money, is we give a lot of it away.
Good deal, good deal. That's an excellent point. You guys also need to remember, when applying for scholarships, it's not always academically merit-based. Many of them are based on you writing an essay or answering questions about what your plans are for the future and what you plan to do with your education. So take a look at every scholarship opportunity that's put out there, because, hey, that's free money to you that you can utilize towards your college expenses. And you can apply as many times as you want to multiple scholarships, and the money that you have, because at some given point, all of your tuition expenses are covered and you may have excess scholarship money. Well, you can then utilize that money to cover any, personal expenses, your rent, your room and board, your transportation expenses, or thinking out of the box, you could put that money into an account at the credit union or your bank and utilize that for, your junior, senior year college expenses or your grad year college expenses. So check out every scholarship opportunity that's out there, and there are a ton, and you could very well benefit and be selected as one of the winners of those scholarships if you just take a few moments to apply. Any questions regarding that?
And I was just going to remind that I know there's people watching and listening that haven't seen an MSGCU. They're like, I don't know where you are, but this is not my area. Do you live in Michigan? Apply anyway.
Absolutely. The worst they can say is no. And if they say no, then you say, okay. And then you move on to the next one. But it's like they say for Vegas commercials, you can't win if you don't play. You can't get a scholarship if you don't apply, So with all that being said, we're going to bring this session to a close. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you so much, Colleen. Great presentation as always. And we'll see you all next time on College and Career Pathways. Everybody have a great day.